Hello, I'm Jyoti Koirala giving the presentation of disaster management in Nepal. We know that Nepal is prone to the various types of natural disaster due to rugged and fragile geophysical structure, very high peaks, high angle of slopes, complex geology, variable climate condition, active tectonic process, unplanned settlement, increasing population, weak economic condition, low literacy rate. Apart from the reasons, the lack of coordination among the agency related to disaster management, no clear-cut job description of those agencies, resource constraint, lack of technical manpower, lack of public awareness, very remote, rural and difficult geophysical situation of the country, absence of modern technology, and so on are the major factors, and there are some other obstacles as well. Those are making difficult to cope with the natural disasters in Nepal. But despite of those problems and limitations, Nepal is gradually picking up the momentum towards improving the disaster management situation. Policymakers have shown the interest to look into the problems of disaster management from the point of view of economic development, which is gaining strength in the country. Such interest of policymakers might prove to be conducive to use the existing scientific and the technical knowledge to reduce the vulnerability of natural disasters and environmental hazards in Nepal. About Nepal, country background. Nepal is a small and landlocked country in South Asia. It is situated between the two large, densely populated countries in Asia, that is between China and Nepal. China is in the northern side, while the India is on southern, eastern, and the western side. The shape of Nepal is rectangular, and it has the area of more than 147,000 square kilometers, with the length east to west is 885 kilometers, while the width, that is north to the south, is non-uniform, and it is approximately 193 kilometers, and it is also situated between the longitude of 84 east to 88 degree 12 east, and latitude is 26 degree 22 north to 30 degree 27 north, along with the southern slope of the Himalayas. The lowest altitude starts from the 60 meters from the sea level in the southern plain to the 8,848 meters in the northern part. Mount Everest, the highest peak in the world with the altitude of 8,848 meters, lies in Nepal. Ecologically, the country is divided into the three regions, namely the Tarai, hills and mountains. Nepal is prone to various types of natural disaster. It has got the rugged and fragile geophysical structure, very high peaks, high angle, complex geology, variable climatic condition, active tectonic process, unplanned settlement, increasing population. So this is the reason that Nepal is much prone to the types of natural disasters. Similarly, talking about the major disasters of Nepal that is happening from the long time, that is earthquake, flood, landslide, debris flow, epidemic, fire, avalanche, glacier lakes, windstorm, thunderbolt, hailstorm, drought. These are the major disasters that are happening in Nepal regularly. So the government need to focus on controlling those disasters. National Policy for Disaster Risk Reduction. The government of Nepal has developed various legal institutional arrangements to plan and manage the disaster reduction and management activities. Natural Calamity Relief Act in 1982, Local Self-Governance Act 1998, Building Act 1998, National Building Code 2004, National Strategy for Disaster Risk Management 2009, Climate Change Policy 2011, Land Use Policy 2012, Water-Induced Disaster Management, National Policy for Disaster Risk Reduction 2018, National Reconstruction and Rehabilitation Policy 2015, National Disaster Response Framework 2013, Basic Guideline related to the settlement development of urban planning and building construction 2016, National Urban Development Strategy 2016 are the important legal policy framework. So similarly, Constitution of Nepal 2015 has recently approved and enacted the Local Government Operation Act 2017 and Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act 2017 are the latest major legal arrangement related to disaster management policies in Nepal. Government plays an important role in management of disasters. Some of its roles are reduce the loss of life and property, address the suffering of the people, effect land use planning, prepare and develop the hazard map of the disaster-prone areas, make the people aware of natural disasters, make coordination among the different agencies involved in disaster management activities, mobilize the non-governmental sectors in an effective and efficient way for the management of disaster management, mobilize the internal as well as external sources. Internal sources are within the country, whereas external sources are those development partners who arrive from out of country. There should also be proper management for the rehabilitation and reconstruction and providing the training at the grassroots level for the construction, management of the disaster, and building the capacity on disaster management, rescue and relief work, as well as awareness raising program. These need things to be done. So in this way, the improvement of disasters management has to be done. So despite of many problems and issues in Nepal, Nepal is somehow gradually improving the disaster management situation. What was 20 years back is no more similar in recent days. There are a lot of changes, and there are a lot of positive changes in the management of disasters. The policymakers have shown the interest to look into the problems of disaster management from the point of view of economic development, which is gaining strength in the country. And Nepal needs assistance and support from the international communities and friendly nations to strengthen the capacity of disaster management for the prevention and reduction, making the early warning system as a key element in management of disaster. So some improvements are happening, and there are yet a lot of things that is required to be done in the field of this disaster management. So how can a disaster management be more effective? So disaster needs to be more effective in Nepal, and for that there should be proper preparedness. There are many guidelines and preparedness plan of Nepal government, and those needs to be effectively and efficiently need to be followed, and those mechanisms should be followed properly for the proper preparedness. And there should be the prompt mobilization of the resources, and the efficient rescue system should be there for the better preparedness for the disasters and for the management of disasters. Similarly, I would like to talk about the different problems. There are still some group of peoples, politicians, practitioners, and academicians. They have raised the question about the lack of the proactive legal policies of Nepal in terms of disaster management. So there should be some changes in the policies and should be flexible and supportive disaster management policies is required at the moment for the proper management. There is also the people have raised the issue related to the lack of technology based in a response field. So the response is more like traditional in our country. So the different technical accessories and other required sophisticated technologies will be there for the controlling, in terms of preparedness, response, recovery and reconstruction of disaster management. We can simply take the example of 2015 Gurkha earthquake, in which there was no such technology, and even there was no huge crane for breaking the house. So it was like Nepal government brought it from the India at the moment. So I think there should be proper planning in advance so that if there is any disasters, then it can be controlled. And also talking about Nepal, there is slow and low quality service in the field of disaster risk reduction and the search and rescue. So proper preparedness, proper training and development is also required in this field. So, establish the disaster management training center for the training, simulation, and the research activity has to be there. And in Nepal, also the need to develop the physical and infrastructure and work for the institutional prosperity, enhance the coordination and collaboration with the stakeholders, technology-friendly and advanced search and rescue equipment to respond to multi-hazard disaster need to be there, and uplift the rescue capacity should be there, like a deep diving, high altitude rescue, etc. need to be there. So, government mechanism needs to be strengthened, change for the long-term disaster management and infrastructure development plan. Need to develop the pre-disaster capacity such as disaster research and disaster education, and all the responsible bodies should gear towards the disaster risk reduction activities, and research needs to be strengthened on this as well. Thank you very much for watching this.